with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around with me. You could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
Let's get it.
Mental health is so important, and I don't think we talk about it enough, and I don't think we do enough to bring awareness. It wasn't bullying. It wasn't a lack of love that Garrison had. It was mental health.
She bringing the thunder. Maddison has always impressed me. This young lady has always impressed me because even when we were first introduced to her and she was in her early teen years on the Sister Wives program, she's always come off as the most level-headed of the children. Like, she's the one that, when she started speaking, I was like, wow, this girl knows what she's talking about. She's actually thought about things. So she's always been a force that's impressed me. There's been a few others. Like, I'm not just saying that Madison's the only one. She's the miracle child. But of the kids, like, Maddison is one of those kids that I'm like, she knows what she's talking about. I say that to say this. When she speaks, we should all take pause and listen to what she has to say. Because Maddison is not just sitting here popping off. She's not just saying a whole bunch of stuff because she thinks she's going to get clicks and views and likes and everybody's going to flood to her channel just to find out what she has to say. She's actually trying to help people, which is an amazing thing. That speaks a lot to her character. But let's listen to what she actually had to say. She's saying that when she's talking about her brother, she's not blaming the AUB or the church or the upbringing or the family or this individual or that individual, and no, they're not coming around enough, and because they grew up in a certain religion or whatever the case may be, and polygamy is evil to the women and the men. She said that her brother was struggling with mental illness. Now, when we talk about this, I'm not saying at all that there isn't room to criticize the institution of polygamy. I'm not saying that there isn't room to criticize some of these religions and these religious practices that are going on. I'm not saying that we can't look at individuals that we see on these reality shows and assign blame. But what I am saying is that we have to be very careful about what we try to watch or what we try to pin on this person, that person, or this organization or that organization as a cause as to why this tragedy occurred. Why do I say that? Because when we assign blame and that blame is proven to be false, or it doesn't hold water, it doesn't make sense, then it starts to question everything that we point out moving forward. What do I mean by that? If I say that, oh, it's the dad, and the dad wasn't spending enough time with him, that's what the issue was. Then it comes out that Garrison had been struggling with mental illness for a time. Then all of a sudden, anytime I criticize the dad or Cody or whatever the case may be, that has to be called into question. Is he wrong like he was wrong before? If I say that it's the organization or the institution of polygamy, is he wrong because he was wrong before? There's plenty of room that we don't have to put our thumbs on the scale so that we can prove yet again that this is another fallout or another thing that happened within this family or within this organization that caused this tragedy to happen. There's plenty of things, trust me when I say this, there's plenty of things that we can look at to actually blame them and hold them accountable and responsible for the things that they do. Now, when it comes to Maddison's message, she not only mentioned the importance of mental illness, because that's critical. And as we talk about people struggling with mental illness, we also have to keep in mind that folks aren't just struggling with mental illness who are polygamists or members of the Brown family. People struggle with mental illness across racial, cultural, social, financial influence as far as money, so on and so forth. People struggle with mental illness across the board. And people don't seek help. We have to try to speak about this to normalize the option to get help when you need help. This is one of the things that we have to do. And we can't just try to easy code it onto this particular thing because that doesn't shine light on some of the bigger issues. Now, one of the other things that Maddison talked about was the presence of social media and the impact that it had on her brother. There are a lot of people, especially young folks, who look at social media and they see these worlds, this virtual reality, as real reality. They think that this is the real world, that this is how stuff functions. When they look at Facebook, Instagram, and they see their friends and family getting on off planes and sitting in luxury cars and exotic cars. They supposedly starting these big time jobs or going on these big time vacations, or they're buying this, buying that, house, boat, car, horse, whatever the case may be. They feel like they're not accomplishing. Which is ironic, because one of the things that I was very impressed with Garrison was that he, at his age, went out and bought a house, which is insane. Like, for him to be as young as he was, for him to go out and purchase a home by himself, and then not only purchase a house where he can live, but a house that's going to house his brother and take care of his family that way, was very responsible, and it was very impressive. People were looking at Garrison's situation jealous. So it's ironic to me that Maddison talks about how Garrison would see other people and be jealous of what other people are doing when he is accomplishing a lot. He's accomplishing a lot. There's no shame in what he was doing. And it's being comfortable in your own skin. Maddison also goes on to say that she's going to stop using filters. She's going to stop being pretend. She's going to stop putting that happy face on social media, because she wants to bring the reality to social media, which I can totally respect. Now, this is one of the things, like I said, that I totally respect about Maddison. Maddison is a young lady who has a strong and good head on her shoulders. She's very intelligent, and she's very thoughtful in the things that she says, the things that she does, and the things that she puts forward. So I want to make sure I give her a shout out for that. Now, when we deal with this, especially from the perspective of content creation, my responsibility is for how I try to approach these types of issues is I try to respect not only my audience, but I also try to respect the power of the microphone. Because when you're sitting there on a microphone and you have these platforms, you can present things in a way that can actually hurt people or damage people. It's not just about content creation. You can affect people's lives. So we just have to be more responsible with how we do things and how we carry things out. Because at the end of the day, everybody likes to get big time clicks. Everybody hopes that their video goes viral. Everybody hopes that they have the next big channel. But let's be responsible about how we address these things, so that way, when people are suffering with these types of issues, they can get and seek the help that they need, and they can find that happiness that they deserve. That's my take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCA.